You alluded in your opening comments to big questions about Russia and China. So let's begin with big questions about Russia and China. Let's start with Russia and Ukraine, the immediate crisis. The president has taken off the table the idea of a direct U.S. military response in Ukraine. And the emphasis has been on sanctions and support for Ukraine, sanctions against Russia, support for Ukraine. What can you say about the diplomatic side? Essentially, the Russians, as we read in the paper today, have essentially said they don't simply want Ukraine out of NATO, but they want NATO out of much of Eastern Europe. What is our sense of the conversation we're prepared to hold with the Russians about European security?
So we have been clear as the United States, and just yesterday the 30 nations of the NATO alliance were clear in a statement that came out of the North Atlantic Council. We're prepared for dialogue with Russia. We've had dialogue with Russia on European security issues for the last 20 years. We had it with the Soviet Union for decades before that. That has sometimes produced progress, sometimes produced deadlock, but we are fundamentally prepared for dialogue. Russia has now put on the table its concerns with American and NATO activities. We're going to put on the table our concern with Russian activities that we believe harm our interests and values. That's the basis of reciprocity upon which you would pursue any kind of dialogue. We can make progress in some areas. In other areas, we're just going to have to disagree, and that's in the nature of dialogue as well. But fundamentally, our strategy is going to be to coordinate closely, to have allied unity, and then be prepared to sit with Russia and respond positively to the idea that we can have a discussion in the appropriate format on the principle of nothing about you without you, and see where it takes us.